Good afternoon, everyone. This is Philosophy 2030 Logic with Ebo. If you have any questions regarding any comments to make in this video, feel free to reach out to my email on screen, as well as my office hours on Monday through Friday, Wednesday, Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. In this video, I'll be going over Chapter 1, Section 1. Just a beginner intro into the course. We're going over symbolic logic, formation rules, parsing trees, and notation. To start things off, I'll go over some of the base rules. P to Z, our capital P to Z, are our fundamental parts that we're going to be using, right? They're used to represent ideas or things happening, the actual, sentence that I hold. With P, they can mean anything, right? P could mean Pat Parks, for example. Z could mean Zane Zoos. It's not a verb, but I just made it up. Next, we have, it's not here, the negation symbol. Here. A negation reverses the actual meaning. It inverses it. It negates it. It doesn't occur, right? Had you did a negation of P, it would mean Pat doesn't park. Some terminology. A symbolic sentence containing no connectives at all is an atomic sentence. In this chapter and the next, only sentence letters are atomic. What does that mean? Well, if we look at the letter, let's see, Y. U. That alone is just an atomic sentence. It's an atomic. It can mean any symbolic sentence that contains one or more connectives is a molecular sentence. If it's connected or something, we'll go into what that connection means shortly. This becomes a molecular sentence. Whenever earlier with the idea of the negation, it's just the negation of blank, and it's the negation of you right here. And more importantly, when we go into conditionals in a further episode, we need a way to split up the square and the triangle in how we classify them. In logic, we consider the first half, this right here, to be the antecedent. With the latter right here, should not use an arrow, it's a bad idea. This to be the consequent. I'll go over it briefly into parsing trees. It'll be covered in a future episode, but for now, just stay with me. If we want to parse this down to the atomic parts, just the P, we make an arrow from the negation, as that's the primary point. If it was a conditional, we want to parse it down to just the atomic bits. We break the conditional off into two pieces, as it's the connective part of it, into P and Q. If it's a negation of a conditional, we first cut off the negation part into just P and Q. And from there, the atomic bits. The other way around. And next we'll go over formal, informal, and long notation. An official notation would be an example like if it was just U to V. That's a V, U to U, whoops. U to V all around the brackets. Right, it encapsulates it in one part, and the need for parentheses there is nice. And this is an official notation. Had it been just U, also good. Had it been just the negation of U, that's also great. You don't need additional parentheses there. For informal notation, it follows anything that could be an official notation had there been a parentheses added. If it was U to V, just like as such, this is perfectly fine. This is an informal notation. There's no parentheses around it. Had it been the negation of R into U to V, this is also informal because you can add a parentheses around all of it to make it official. That's the main difference. Nothing vastly different there. And And if the notation in sentence does not follow the rules at all, it is not a sentence. Not a sentence. And for example, if you had like negation, V, negation, and you have like 2 parentheses around it. If it doesn't follow the rules explicitly, if a negation of V like that doesn't follow the rules, it's wrong. If you have like V to Q to W, also doesn't make sense at all. Not fine. These are not a sentence. And that was it. That was our overview of Chapter 1, Section 1. We went over symbolic logic in terms of how we post the rules and sentences there, with the examples of P to Z, with P being like Pat Parks. Formation rules around like the negation idea, where if there's a negation of P, it's like Pat doesn't park. Well, Pat doesn't park. Parsing trees, I'll go over briefly once again. It's trying to get down to the actual compound parts, the molecular sentence there, to just the main atomic bits. How do we have the negation of P to Q, like the negation of all, we go to the negation first, and then P to Q, and then a little triangle here. That brings it down to, if I can scroll down, that is, P to Q. And that's it. In terms of notation, we went over what it means for official notation, informal notation, and if it doesn't follow either of those rules, it's not a sentence at all. It doesn't make sense. Thank you for watching, folks. Have a great day, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Bye-bye.